Here's the march to breakfast. Kind of looks like The Shining. Red rum. Good morning, I'm Lynn, and instead of saying welcome to Utopia Farms, I'm going to say welcome to the All Canada Sheep Classic. So this is the Dorset ewe class. These are the yearling ewes, right? Okay, so the class is getting bigger now. We got the slick-shorn, fall-born Dorset ewe lambs. So these would be like our fall ewe lambs that you see. We sent a bunch to Nova Scotia, but we kept 10 back. That would be these guys. So the judge looks at them while they're standing in a row, and then he asks them to walk around. So he's going to be looking at how their legs move, making sure that their legs aren't too close together. Okay, so right now the judge will be looking at the back ends and seeing how straight the back is. So you want to see that wide stance, and like I said before, you're going to be looking for them to be built like a table. So you're going to watch people as they're posing their sheep. You'll see people kicking their front legs apart to try and make them look wider.
Calling next into the ring, please, our Texels. Looking for our Texel class. Into the ring, please.
So now the judge is lining them up, and he'll feel the length of their loin. And see, when you have them all side by side like that, it's a lot easier to see them and judge them, because you got like with like. So the Dorset class is a fairly large class at the Classic. The two biggest classes here will be Dorset's, and Suffolk's will be the very biggest. So right now they're lining up I believe it's the first and second place placers in the Dorset show. So the yearlings, the fall ones, the spring lambs, everyone who came in first and second will be here, and they will pick the champion out of this whole group right now. Usually they pick a yearling.
First and second place class winners. Our judge, Pascal Delanat, is going to choose his first pick from the slick-sheared classes, his two top slick-sheared classes, his two top fitted ewes, and from those final four, he will choose his champion Dorset female. So the others will be excused.
Okay, so that was kind of confusing if you heard that. So some will be slick-shorn, which means all their wool's been cut off. Fitted ewes will have a little bit more wool coverage on them. Maybe they were sheared 2 months ago, so they have a little more wool. Or they were sculpted at the back. Like this one, you can see her rump is not naturally like that. They've left extra wool there. That's called fitted. So the judge is going to pick his two top slick-shorn and his two top fitted from this class. And then when he has the four, he's going to pick the champion and reserve champion Dorset. And that's how it works.
I feel like we're friends for
So one of the really tall ones won. Like I said, the tall ones always win the show. And this guy was the second place round. So now we're into the fall-born Dorset ram lambs. So these would be the age of our 44, just so you can get an idea. for us, you know, we're looking for scrapie resistant rams. So for us to buy a ram at the show, it has to be an RR. Unfortunately, at the sale today, there's a lot of QRs.
Nothing.
So they're gonna pick the top of this class now.
So my two is a good pair, my two best pair of ram there. This one, the third one I like him because it's very long. Over to my fourth one. Thank you.
So they're doing the same thing with the ram lamb class. They're gonna pick the top two slick shorn, the top two fitted sheep. They're the ones with a little more wool on them. I mean, they're pretty well identical. Nobody's got lots of wool on here. I'll give them credit for that because, like I've told you before in the videos, wool can hide a lot of faults. So pretty well on all these sheep, what you see is what you get. What the difference here, a huge difference you can see in size. You got Canadian style up front here in this less clean sheep, and then you got the American style beside it. Almost like two different breeds, but those are both Dorset. That makes the judge's decision a little more different because I mentioned to you before about comparing apples and apples, like these two. That's a fair comparison because they're same age, very similar style. So you can compare easily based on conformation. When you've got these size discrepancies, some people prefer the taller ones, some people prefer shorter. In the shows, taller tend to win because size, people consider size impressive. But occasionally one of the shorter, stockier ones will win. It's supposed to be only about conformation though. So they're gonna pick the grand champion and the reserve champion out of these four. So, and the two bigger ones won. They're two different ages. And there's the theory, the biggest one always wins. So of interest, the one who won champion, he is the exact same breeding as Gimli at our farm and Ferdinand. This is Dorset champion Dorset flock. So you have a ram and three ewes usually from the same breeder. And yes, the big tall ones won.
Watch, she's gonna get you on YouTube. Get in there.
There, we got some followers here, all the way from Sarnia. Suffolk breeders and what are they?
Oxford.
Oxford, yeah. So, and they're going to be showing sheep too, so we'll have to watch for their sheep on there. So you're Higginson, Southdown.
Yes.
We're at Higginson Southdowns right now. This is a breed of meat sheep at the Classic, and I would say it's not a new breed, but it's an up-and-coming breed in Canada. And we're here with Rini?
Yes.
Rini Higginson with her Southdowns, and I'm just curious what you like about the Southdowns and why you think this is a breed people should have.
They're very, very easy keepers. They're low maintenance, really. They don't eat an awful lot of feed. I mean, they will eat a lot, but if you give them a lot, but they are low maintenance.
Okay.
And they make wonderful pets for kids.
They're really friendly, I heard.
Yes, they're very friendly. And we've had purebred Southdowns on our farm for over 100 years.
Oh, really?
My husband's great-grandfather started the flock, and so it's kind of.
So you have to be one of the originals, because it seemed you hear about Keith Todd bringing them in, and maybe.
Yep. In fact, my deceased father-in-law and Keith's grandfather were friends. We're friends. We fought a number of rounds. But we've always had them on the farm.
And what's their lamb percentage like?
We like twins. They do sometimes have triplets, but
What's their average?
usually about, I would say, 175, 180%.
Okay. So like Suffolks.
Yes. Yeah. We prefer not to have quads.
Yeah.
They
I
can
hear
only
ya.
feed two. Quite often, if they have triplets, we'll take them and just feed them on like milk replacer on a bucket.
Sure.
But no, they're friendly. They're easy keepers. It's a hobby.
They're really deep sheep. I see that.
Yes,
Like,
they're a meat breed. Their wool is not. I mean, they don't have the long wool that spinners like, but they do have. These have just been shorn.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes. They have a very, very fine wool with a small crimp, so it.
Okay.
I used to have a lady that would buy wool from me and use it for baby clothes.
Oh, yeah. So it's really fine and
Yes.
soft. And what about they get wool all on their face, right?
Yes.
Around their eyes
Yes.
and stuff. Do you have to trim their eyes and stuff?
Sometimes some of them get more than others, but generally these will be fine until the next time they're shorn.
Oh, okay.
They have more hair on their noses and stuff. You get the odd one that gets quite what they call wool blind, but then you trim it around their eyes.
Okay.
But generally, like they have, it's more of a hair on their legs. Like
Yeah.
they're not. It's longer, and they've got wool everywhere.
We have some Dorsets at home, and the shearers always say they hate the Dorsets. Do you know, because of all the wool all over? Do
Well, a lot of
shearers
shearers
compare with you
don't
guys?
like the Southdowns either.
Oh, okay. There you go. It's not.
And they have
not
they have
just
wool,
the
they
Dorsets.
have, they have wool on their ears and
Yeah.
and everything. So yes.
We're actually trying to breed for wool on the ears for our Dorsets, because I was told that the original Dorsets had hair on their
Yeah.
ears, and now they're all naked, right? So we're working on building that back.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for talking to us.
You're very welcome.
So here, since we spoke to a Southdown breeder, we're now going to film the Southdown show. These are yearling ewes, and it's a fairly big class. And the one thing I noticed is this is a really consistent class. Some of the classes, the sheep are all over the board, big, small, but this class is quite consistent. And there's a ewe. She's protesting. No, I'm not going to do that. Some of them bad like that, like they're really hard done by. Technically in Canada, you're supposed to leave a tail on them to be able to show them. Some of these are definitely getting pretty close to, I would say, no tail. But it must have been stubby enough that they considered it a tail. Now we're seeing how good they walk. So this is where training comes in, because if the sheep is fighting with you and stuff, it won't be walking correctly, and then the judge won't be able to make an accurate judgment on its legs and its movement. So you want to try get your sheep as good with walking as they possibly can if you want to have a fair shake at So he's going to go along here, and he's going to be looking at their top line, which is their back. You want the back to be very straight. Most of these guys are straight. Anyone with a dip in the back, it will be a fault against them. You'll be wanting to look at the placement of those back legs. Remember, I talked about having a little hook in the back leg like that. You want to see that. You don't want it to be straight down, or you don't want the legs to go underneath the body either. Both of those would be faults. You want to see, well, here's one right there, the hook in the leg, and then the leg comes straight down. That's what you want to see. And you'll see other people positioning the sheep so that the legs look as good as possible. They'll spread their legs apart so it makes their rump and their chest look wider. And like I said, if your sheep is a good sheep, it should naturally stand that way. You shouldn't have to position it. But if the sheep is nervous, they may stand all wonky. So you do want to check that. Like this one here is nervous. She's having a pee. That's a sign of nerves. We've learned that before. See, everybody's having a little pee because it's very stressful for them, even though they have been trained and handled for quite a bit. And so when they're positioning the legs, you don't want to pull the legs too wide apart because then they look silly. Again, make them look like a coffee table. So their back legs should go straight down from their hips, and the front legs should go straight down from the shoulders. And ideally, you want the back legs and the front legs to line up. If they don't, that would be not ideal. So those are some of the things judges will be looking for. They won't check their bites or anything like that because that's part of the culling committee. They'll do that when they enter the show. A bad bite is a disqualification.
Pair of you, good breed character, very good feet and legs, so perfect sheep. Not all, but sometimes we find some perfect. And third and fourth, we have another two good pair of you. Maybe the third one should a little bit more long. That's why they are giving the advantage of the fourth one. In the bottom, we have a really good brood use, but for today, it's not my choice. Thank you.
156. In 8th place, lot 166, Higginson 37J. In 9th place, lot 164, Higginson JAH 25J. In 10th place, 163, Higginson 18J. And in 11th place, lot 162, Higginson 13J. Thank you very much, exhibitors. A fine class of Southdown.
Okay, this is Wool Growers.
Yes.
We've met him before when we went to the wool shop and went back and looked at the wool processing. He runs the whole the whole show. And this is Andrew and here. He was trying to get out of the shot. And this company is where all the sheep people get all their sheep supplies all across Canada. If you need anything For sheep, this is really the go-to place. They've got everything from medications to crooks to harnesses to markers to you get all your ear tags and stuff from them, fencing, the shearing stands, you name it, they've got it. Everything for sheep. Leanne's been here forever in charge of everything. 36 years? I didn't think it was that long. You shouldn't admit to that. But they're always extremely helpful here. And they put out a nice catalog right here. Sometimes we're on the cover. Not that year, but the year before we were. And it has all the stuff you need for sheep in here. But they're really great. And when I turn this off, I will ask for a 10% discount. Okay, so now we're starting the Suffolk show. And it always starts with yearling ewes. These would be slick-shorn yearling ewes. Okay, now they're walking them around. So again, they're going to make sure that there's no bow legs and the feet are tracking back and forth properly. They're not swaying back and forth. They're not down on their pasterns. Okay, so here's the Suffolk ram. Oh no, we're still on ewes? Yeah, these are still ewes. So we got them all lined up, and the judge is now going to decide what order he's going to put these Suffolk yearling ewes in. And we got a lot of big sheep here. So he's pulling bottom to top. I can tell you that right now. Some judges pull top to bottom and others pull bottom to top. And if you're lucky, the judge will tell you why he placed the sheep, where he placed them. Some judges don't, but usually they'll tell you why they placed the first ones anyway. But as you can see how tall they are when the heads come up to people's armpits. These are big animals. So I'm assuming the judge has decided on these ones here, but and I have to admit, they're like peas in a pod, so he's got to now pick these ones apart and decide how to place these. Apparently this is the order they're going to put them in.
Today I find a good shape today, but like this last, I don't think so. So for today I start with a big ewe, a tall ewe, but she is heavy ewe. She has a good, beautiful head, good breed character, clean on the fleece. So for today, for me she's a very nice ewe in first place. Second over the third, when we compare these two ewes, she's too big frame ewe, but I did give the advantage of second one over. The long better in the long, and when she walks, I prefer the back leg over the third one. But congratulations, a very good class.
Okay, this is the Suffolk ewe lamb class. It will be one of the bigger classes. And this is something that we've noticed with Suffolks, is that the British style look the best at the younger ages like this. The shorter, blockier ones. They look well fleshed and ready to go. If you had market lambs, they're ready for market. The problem with the taller sheep is they look great in the last class because they look fantastic at a year. But at this age, which these are the January lambs, they look a little more frail. And we find at our place they're the slower growing ones and look more like a lanky teenager. But if you have those stocky ones, like our number 3 and our number 2 ram, Killer and Kodiak, they look great at this age. So with Suffolks, the British style and the American style show a little differently. The bigger the class, the harder it is on the judge. This is a big class with a whole bunch of nice lambs.
Third and fourth is close placing. Again, they haven't played on the third one. Maybe should a little bit longer. Thank you very much.
So the sheep that were chosen as the top Suffolks, and this is definitely American style. So these are the Suffolk ram lambs. So they'd be the same age as Killer, Kryptonite, and those guys. So they're same age, and this is basically the same size, but if they were here, they'd be competing against these boys. We're judging the best rams in the show, the Suffolk rams. So of course you know that this is the class we're really looking at. Because we are biased towards Suffolks. So they're going to pick the top 2 slick shorn and the top 2 that are fitted. And then from those 4, they're going to pick the top 2 of the class. And usually it's always a yearling, not a lamb, because the lamb has not fully grown, so it's harder to judge and they can't predict what it will look like in the future. Occasionally a ram lamb will win, but it's very rare. So it's usually always a yearling, and it's usually always the biggest. But sometimes you have a surprise. But it looks like we got McTaggart's came second, and I'm not sure who that big guy is. But the 2 big guys won. The 2 yearlings. Okay, so these are Texel sheep. Gord Walker is the breeder of these sheep. Gord is very shy. He has some of the best Texels in Canada. And this is his group, and he's too shy to talk about why people buy them. But the reason people like Texels is that they're a meat sheep. So you can see the bottoms on these guys. People are using Texels on just about any breed as a terminal sire, and you're looking to produce meat. So if you want a really nice leg of lamb, this is one of the breeds you'd be going to, because they're double muscled, and even the lambs when they're born, they have that muscular rump. So they're true meat sheep, but they're finer boned and a little bit smaller, but they've got the heavy muscling. Southdown.
Congratulations to our champion ram. It's the Southdown ram, lot 173, Comfort DR 81J.
Okay, so the Southdown was the champion.
For Supreme Champion Ram of the 2022 All-Canadian Sheep
I'll show you here.
The Reserve Champion, lot number 101, the Hampshire Ram.
So this ram
15J. And the recipient of the Canadian Wool Growers
is the
Association
breeder of
Trophy for
Ferdinand.
Reserve Supreme Champion Ram.
And he won the champion ram, and he's a Southdown.
And making the presentations, of course, of our
There
ribbons
he
for
is.
our Supreme Champions is Avery Rimmer. Avery is our 2019
So
World Winner.
so we'll say we're a little related to him because we got Ferdinand, but it's a different breed. But it's the same, from the same farm. A very good breeder and a very nice guy. That's
We'll have our photos,
Dave
of course,
Comfort.
taken.
Okay, so this is the best part of the show for me. This is where they pick the breeder's flock. And so here it would be the best group from each group. So the best Suffolks, the best Hampshires. Right here we got Southdowns. These are Southdowns. This is the Texels. These are Hampshires. Right here we got the Suffolks.
So finally,
Over here we got North Country
I
Cheviots.
fight with Gary, but not too much. You see all the good
Here we
sheep
got
here.
Horn Dorset,
All the sheep, all the breed.
These
They
are regular
represent very well
Dorset,
the breed.
Charlet,
Today probably the one represent more
Oxford.
the breed is Oxford.
Oh, and the Oxfords won it. So he chose them as the best flock. Oxford's an old breed. Well, that's it from the All Canada Sheep Classic. I hope that was okay, and I hope you'll join us again for the next episode at Utopia Farms. Bye for now.